Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and welcome to another advanced listening practice lesson. I like to remind people at the beginning of each one of these episodes that you should please enjoy some of the different series, earlier videos that I've made, maybe talking about grammar or phrasal verbs or idioms, something like that, where I'm speaking with a slower and more clear voice. That way you can understand everything and prepare yourself to understand and enjoy all of the things that I cover in this series. So this is where I speak at native or faster than native speed, and well, if you're prepared for this lesson, let's begin. Anyway, I'm going to talk about a couple of interesting things in this episode. Number one, I guess the first reason I haven't been appearing in the Advanced Listening Practice series is because I've been experimenting with some different video series. You notice the latest videos, between the previous episode in this series and this one, we've got a whole bunch of new things where I'm trying to help people improve their pronunciation and also their vocabulary so they sound much more native and can pronounce things much more clearly like native speakers. Anyway, because I do like to experiment with different things, sometimes I may focus on one series for a while and then come back to something else. But people were saying, "Hey, Drew, where's your beautiful, handsome face?" So here I am. Anyway, I'm back here, and I'm happy to make this video. Although I must say I am a little bit disappointed because I'm inside right now on such a lovely day. Not because I have to make this video. I've really been excited to make this video for a while, actually. I just haven't had much time. But I'm kind of disappointed because I'm inside and I'm working on our advanced Scroll Phonics series, or kind of not really a series, but all of the different levels that are going to be in our ultimate guide to pronunciation. So Scroll Phonics will be helping you improve your pronunciation, and it's really a fantastic system, but it's such a huge thing that we're building. It takes a long time. So I'm kind of looking outside. You can see a little bit of the beautiful sunlight coming through the window on my face right now, and this is just, coming from the outside, and it's kind of trying to pull me outside. So I have to sit on the computer and actually do a lot of things with Scroll Phonics to get prepared for the release of that. But anyway, so I thought I would take some quick time while I'm here and make this video for you, which I am excited about. Anyway, in this video, I wanted to talk about emotional learning. And kind of something about emotional learning is also just the stories that we tell, and the reason why I make the videos in the way that I do, especially this advanced listening practice lesson where I tend to ramble. I guess maybe not really rambling, but I get off topic, or people kind of complain occasionally like, "Hey Drew, why don't you get to the point? Get to the point." So it just means, why don't you say what you want to say directly? And well, I kind of do this for two reasons. It's not that I don't want to say anything directly, but I want to kind of set things up and tell a story which makes information a lot more memorable for you. If I just say, "Hey guys, welcome to the video. Here are 3 steps you need to do," most people would just forget that. In the same way that you would go to a movie and you don't want to just say, "Hey, before I even watch the movie, you know that the main character will probably win at the end. He will probably get the girl, or she will win the movie," or whatever that thing is. You don't go to the movie theater to know what's going to happen because you already know what's going to happen. You go to watch the story, and it's the story you connect with. The other reason that I do talk in the way I do, and maybe if I don't say everything exactly how I was thinking about saying it, or exactly in a way that might be perfect or easy to understand, is because it's important for you to see how a native English speaker is speaking without having any kind of script. So right now, I don't have any kind of script. I just have an idea in my head about something basically, and this is giving you an opportunity, number one, to see how I speak, but number two, to understand the words and phrases I use when I'm talking about things. So what do I say when I'm thinking about something? So right now, if I say, I'm thinking about something, I don't exactly know how I want to express myself. So when I'm thinking about something like that, or what to say, or if I'm expressing a certain kind of emotion, you get to see that. So there's kind of 2 lessons that happen in every one of my videos, especially in this advanced listening practice series. The first one is the actual lesson I'm trying to give, like, hey, you should learn in this way, or you should be thinking it in this way, or something like that. But the second lesson is actually listening to the words and phrases I use in particular situations, because you always want to not be translating from your language into English, or from English into your language, but from the situation to the vocabulary. So when you watch native speakers, if you put that extra step in there, so a situation happens and a native speaker says something, and then you translate that into your language and then try to think about it in English again when you want to use it, that's what's really going to make it difficult for you to express yourself. So if you can look at a situation, like even a situation right now, like if I'm surprised a ghost suddenly comes into my room, what do I say? So if I make a certain facial expression or my hands or my body language or the words or phrases that I use, all of these things come together, and it will help you remember those things much more clearly if you can connect the words and phrases I'm using with the actual situation that I'm in. So anyway, this is why I go on and on and on, and I talk about lots of different things, but maybe not directly. So if you're looking for really quick information, I do have other lessons where I just say, hey, you should remember this thing, and this is how I do something, like our series on how to get fluent in English faster. That's a whole bunch of videos that just gives really quick tips, and it's really not, trying to go into how you should be speaking and other ways like that. So there are different video series on the channel for different kinds of learners. But if you don't mind this and you're actually kind of understanding the two different kinds of lessons that we have in these video series, again, number one, you've got the actual lesson, and number two, the kind of meta lesson, M-E-T-A, but we pronounce it meta lesson, which is actually how I'm speaking. So if you can copy that and really pay attention to both of those lessons, that's what's going to help you get fluent faster. So, talking about all this and getting back to emotional learning, I wanted to tell a quick story, as I like to tell stories. So this one was actually from a long time ago when I was about maybe 10 or 11 years old. I had a birthday party at McDonald's. So back, where I lived in Chicago, the local McDonald's, kids would sometimes go there, and, it was actually a lot of fun. I went there with, maybe like 10 or 12 of my friends, and we got some of like the old Happy Meal boxes and stuff. So my birthday is in September, but I got some old Christmas toys and Halloween stuff, even a lot of just like little things that we got from McDonald's that they aren't really doing anything with anyway, because those toys aren't being given to children for the new season or the current season at that time. But anyway, so it was a lot of fun. We get to go to McDonald's and we get some like reduced prices on stuff, and they also let us go behind the counter. So we got kind of a tour in the back of McDonald's, and I don't know if people can still do this now. I'm sure maybe some McDonald's you can have a birthday party there. I haven't really heard about that, but it was kind of something people did when I was younger. And they also let us go into the freezer, because I think around that time there had been like a robbery of a McDonald's, not that McDonald's, but a different McDonald's back in Chicago. And what the robbers did was tell the staff to go into the freezer, and they kind of like locked them in there. I think they were safe though, like somebody let them out. But anyway, we were like, hey, can we go in the freezer too and see what it's like? So, we were just being kind of silly kids, and we wanted to check that out. Anyway, the interesting thing about this is that my mom sent me a mail, just a regular email, not that long ago, with a picture of a cup that she got from that party. So again, McDonald's, they're just like giving us random stuff because we're having a birthday party over there. And one of the things that she got was a little cup with a kind of cup holder section at the bottom. Now, I don't have this cup, but I will put a picture of it up here for you. And there you go. So you get to see what it looks like. Now, this is just a simple, plain, boring McDonald's cup. It's even got the address of the McDonald's where it used to be. Actually, I don't think that, I guess that McDonald's maybe isn't there anymore, or it moved or something. I don't know what happened to it. I haven't been there in a long time. But anyway, just looking at the cup by itself, it's just a yellow cup with some red letters on it and the symbol for McDonald's, and there's nothing amazing or spectacular about the cup, although my mom really did like how the design of it was specifically fit. It's kind of a little coffee cup, a coffee mug, made out of plastic, but it's a really great size for cup holders, or at least kind of it was, many years ago. I don't know if it is or not anymore, but she's kept this mug this whole time. So that was like 25, 26, 27 years ago, something like that, whenever I had the party. But she still had it, and she still keeps it and still drinks from it and travels with it and does different things. But again, the kind of the whole reason I want to explain all this is because the emotional connection of all of the story, all of the ideas that go into this one thing, like there's nothing about the cup that's amazing. It's just a regular cup, but all of the ideas and the emotion that come out when you look at the cup, and like my mom, maybe she's cleaning out her kitchen and maybe she finds the cup somewhere and says, wow, and all of a sudden all of these emotions come flooding back to her. And these are the things that you should be thinking about when you learn. As I study Japanese, I actually try to study less. I don't really sit and study much textbook learning at all. I don't really like learning that way. Maybe occasionally I'll look at a dictionary just to find some kind of information, but then I'll focus on that word and really try to use it over and over and over again, and I copy people all the time, and I try to really limit myself to the kinds of things I study. So maybe, I don't know, not more than like a few words a day. And so that's what I do in Master English Conversation. We have maybe, I don't know, like 5 to 10 words, if that. I think it's probably actually far less than that we would have people learn. But what I want to encourage you to do is, number one, to learn less if you want to get fluent, and then actually have something that you can practice with. But the second thing is that you should be emotionally connecting with these things. Now, this is a related story, but I think I remember maybe it was like a year ago or 2 years ago, excuse me, that I was watching, or I was actually reading an article online that was talking about some goods that were being sold on eBay. And they were doing a comparison between just the object by itself, so it could be a plate or some little toy or a picture or something like that, or the object with a story in the description. And they wanted to see which one sold better. And obviously they found out that the one with the story sold better, because this is what people are connecting with. People do buy things, but really they're buying a story. They're buying the experience of a thing. So if I say, hey, here's a cup. Would you like to buy this for $5? And it's just a regular cup. And you say, well, there's nothing special about this. Why would I buy that for $5? But if I say, well, I've got this great story. This is like a special captain that went out on a boat, and he was like, he had to like kill a shark or, do something amazing like that. And then this was the cup that he drank from after that as like kind of a special toast. Then all of a sudden a whole bunch of people are like, wow, that's really cool. There's a great story behind that cup, or, whatever that thing happens to be. And that raises the price of that thing. So it's actually raising the value of that thing. Now, in the same way that you should be raising the value of like something, if you want to be selling it by telling that story, you need to be raising the value of the information that you're learning. When you just look through a whole stack of flashcards, there's nothing valuable about that. And that's why your mind doesn't care about that information. So when you're looking through, you're using like your flashcard app on your computer, on your phone or something like that, or even if you're just using paper flashcards. If you're just looking at this information like, okay, this word, that word, and maybe I'll come back to it in an hour and 2 hours and 3 days and see if I remember it. Number one, you're not going to really remember that. And number two, what would be the point? Why spend your time thinking about these words if there's nothing valuable? And by valuable, I mean like actually memorable to you. So if you think about 1 word or 2 words or even 10 words that you could really learn and really master such that you can use them automatically in conversations without thinking, wouldn't that be better if you can do just a little bit of that kind of learning each day, rather than trying to go through a whole bunch of different things that you're just going to forget? So what I'd like to leave you with today for this advanced listening practice lesson is to always be thinking about emotionally charging the information that you're learning. So it could be the environment you're in, like I'm learning a new word and I happen to be in some situation that's very memorable to me, like the sights and the sounds, and it's, unique in some way, or even the smells, like if you're at a restaurant and you remember some weird word like the word pungent. Pungent. I believe that's P-U-N-G-E-N-T, I think. Again, I'm not the greatest speller, but the word pungent means like kind of like a really fragrant smell, like a very strong smell. So if you're in a situation where you're at some Chinese restaurant, for example, or some other restaurant, and you're sitting with a native speaker and he's like, wow, this is some like pungent food or some pungent aroma. So aroma, A-R-O-M-A, is another word for a smell. So a pungent aroma is like, wow, like a really strong smell. It could be like a good strong or a not so good strong if it's like, whoa, you don't really like the smell of that kind of thing. Anyway, I want you to think about, wow, I'm like in this situation right now and I'm smelling this food and I'm hearing this word, word, and I'm connecting that. So I'm connecting it with the situation and emotionally charging what it is I'm trying to learn. So that's how you remember things, and you do it by focusing on a few things, not by trying to jam a whole bunch of information into your head, and obviously it's just not going to stick in there. So if you've been trying to do it that way for a while, like trying to go through flashcards and learn as much as possible, what I'd really like you to do is emotionally charge a few things and try to learn all that, and that will actually help you remember and be able to use it confidently without thinking. And of course, the more you practice, the more you'll be able to do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is just sit and keep speaking about whatever it is you want to be talking about. And even if you don't know the information, or you're in a conversation where the topic is unfamiliar, you can use information that you already know to connect that information with that subject or whatever it is you're discussing. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much because I do have to get back to work working on this I don't even know what to call it really, but it's because it's so many different things. It's a reading tool, a pronunciation tool, a listening tool, but it's our ultimate guide to pronunciation, Scrollphonics, and I look forward to releasing it very soon. Anyway, have a fantastic day, and do like this video if you have enjoyed it, and think about all the vocabulary that you're learning and how you can emotionally charge it in some way such that you can remember it more easily. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Be sure to become a subscriber of the EnglishAnyone.com YouTube channel if you aren't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. To continue learning, click on the link in this video to download Speak English Naturally, our free guide to speaking and sounding like a native English speaker. The guide reveals the 3 most important kinds of conversational English you must learn if you want to sound native, and will help you experience instant improvement in your fluency and speaking confidence. To download your free guide on a mobile device, click on the link in the upper right of this video. To download your free guide from a computer, click on the link in the lower right of this video. I look forward to seeing you in the guide.